Hey, what's happening, everyone? Aaron Jackson here with the Rotation Report. This is not financial advice. What do I look like? A member of Congress? Take a damn hint. Yeah, this is the Santa Rally is Dead edition. Is it really dead? Nah, we'll get into it. I'm engagement baiting. It works for people, whatever. What's really interesting though is man, these metals, they are running wild even tonight. We'll get into that in a moment, but there we go. All right. First up, oh man, look at this. So everyone was freaking out about Japan's treasury yield, and it turns out their yield is 2%. So I don't know, like if that's really going to take down the whole global financial system, maybe the whole global financial system needs to be taken down. If Japan is so broke, they might as well just raise tariffs on Otani or something, right? But anyways, I think everyone's kind of called bullshit on this, and it's like, yeah, sure, Japan's got problems, but there are bigger problems in the world than that. And yeah, so is the Santa Rally dead on arrival? Maybe because in these last few days here, we've just seen the market just go ape a little bit, have a nice rip, nice rally into this, Santa Claus rally period, which it's not really like a rally period where you're like, oh yeah, I want to be long for this period, and then I'm just gonna, deposit these checks starting tomorrow. It's kind of like an indicator. The whole idea is if it's not good from tomorrow through this year, it's January 5th. So if you can't rally between tomorrow and January 5th, then the indicator is going to be like, oh shit, we're fucked. Shit's fucked. Okay. So that's the probably the best way to think about the Santa Rally. But as you can see, it's been anticipated front run. So you could say, hey, maybe that's not going to work anymore just because we've already front run it, we've hyped it up, we've got everyone's excited about it. And then if you get some bad data, then everyone's going to be like, oh no, the Santa Rally, actually, the data says it's bad. And you could see like how these seasonal things, like, maybe we just chill out, put a little less weight into them. The AI knows all after all, right? But it'll be interesting because we've got the NASDAQ 100 here still consolidating under this major extension area. And if you go to the S&P 500, like this what we have here does not do justice to how big, this recent high zone in the S&P 500 is. Lots of confluence of targets from many time frames. So, we'll see. But NVIDIA had a really good day today, poked its head above the 50-day moving average. Is that something like a nice, shiny thing to get everyone's attention, keep them all bullish while, we get to the lowest, the most greedy, the most fearless level in the market all year? Well, that could be a thing. It could be. We don't know, but we do know a lot of assets are moving, a lot of metals are moving pretty wildly here. But ultimately you've got Charles Schwab, which basically one of the biggest brokers out there, all-time highs here. So I mean, how bearish are you going to be, right? If the the bookie is making money, right? And we've got equal weight S&P 500 here. Oh, look at that. It had a little fake breakout. It ripped. Now it's dipped, and now the market's rallied for a week, and this thing can't even get going again. My God. I think the big message here is just like, let's just not pay too much attention to this shit. Let everyone else worry about it. Is it going to dip again? Given the backdrop, you think there's a real good chance. But my God, we'll focus on some other indicators and speaking of like, ripping and dipping and shaking and baking everybody out and up. Check this out. Over the past couple of months, we've been using this consumer staples versus S&P 500 ratio, XLP versus SPY, and you get some staples outperformance, and then you want to buy the dip, and then you get some massive staples underperformance, then you want to sell the rip, and then you buy the dip, you sell the rip, you buy the dip, and here we are back again at the lower Bollinger Band here. So where you'd kind of be like, all right, is this time to cash in some chips? Maybe. You see the bottom end kind of sloping downward. We'll see. We'll see. But if it doesn't, that could also be a hint. And looking at the staples ratio last week, it was like, oh shit, is that a head and shoulders bottom forming? And then look at that. You had a nice little confluence with that, hitting the old resistance there, and then the growth versus value ratios really coming into a nice level, leading into this rip. So we're definitely going to want to see in a couple days here, a few days. Wouldn't be surprising to see Staples hit that old low, maybe leak down into that low, and then what happens from there, because that probably lines up as a bounce zone again. But whatever, pretty clear market in the message in the market right now is check out defense here this week. Carving out this bottom. Kind of gave up this pivot, and people, blows out the stops. It gets everybody wondering what's going on, yada yada. And then look at it here, ripping out of this bottom, big uptrend. Target's much higher, still open. So we're definitely looking for defense stocks. Wars are not over, it does not appear. And let's be honest, this whole fiat game, everyone's like, okay, this fiat game's ending. What's everyone doing now? They're just posturing to win the next war. And I think that's a real good way to think about 2026. Hey, who's got good margins? Who's going to have strong demand next year? Well, shit. Do they help people win the next war? That is the key. And we've got drones here like AeroVironment, nice little reversal at the prior low, 200-day moving average. Now you can say this is a hell of a sell-off, hell of a reversal. Maybe it stalls out 290 to 305, something like that, somewhere in that zone in the next coming weeks. But do like the drones and the defense tech here. You've got Graham, their energy services, but they're also like Navy and space. And just look at this badass base. Probably going to put a buy rating on that. Yes, I've decided, for 2026, we're going to change things up. New year, new rotation report. We're going to do the calls. We're going to do the ratings. We're going to do all that bullshit that everyone loves. And this will be on that list pretty quickly. I would have to imagine. Good looking stock. Probably look into it if you don't know about it. And here is Kratos. I would want to say this is probably, the drone name you want to go to. I don't know. It's just barely pushing out of this base here, but it is, and it's back above the 50-day moving average. Maybe you get it sloping up here in the next couple weeks, something like that. Definitely think, it's not an AI bubble. It's a defense tech bubble. And, if that's the case, then yeah, this is probably going to shape up nicely in the next few weeks. And then just moving through the defense book a little bit here, you got L3 Harris Technologies. Pretty nice breakout of that 22 high, little consolidation, breakout, back test, bang, right back near the highs. Oh, looks like it's trending higher, doesn't it? And then we've got Northrop Grumman, NOC. We've been talking about this one a few times, but yeah. You get the little hard back test, and now it's turning the corner again. Not going to be painless, probably. It's probably not going to be the quickest recovery, but, still looking pretty good. And, interestingly, a lot of talk about like warfare in the sea and, blowing up cargo ships and all, Trump season tankers and all that bullshit. Well, if it's just game on, like anything goes, well, maybe that puts a premium on these LNG cargoes. Cheniere Energy right here, they're talking about, the world's going to be flooded with supply basically in the next few years. And that's pretty much priced into the stock. But, very interesting area here for the first time. You had this sell off because, there's so much supply, et cetera, et cetera. But now we're into the 200-week moving average, rising 200-week moving average in the top of the prior base, basically for the first time since the 2020 low. So that gets really interesting somewhere in the near future around here, probably, right? You would think pretty good entry somewhere around here. So it's on the radar. And then just today, this Venture Global is another LNG carrier on the list. Been trading like shit, obviously, but then again, this April low, little fake breakdown action just today, recovering. So, you could argue, hey, 670-ish, a good reference area. Not bad, right? Maybe it rips into that 50-day, the 7.5 zone, sells off, consolidates between there, something like that. Probably depends on random shit going down. And then, oh man, it's interesting. We're talking about this global, war and economic war and all that. Well, there's some people that think, gold and precious metals are like China. and then crypto and Bitcoin is the US. And well, if that is the case, then Jesus Christ, it's time to learn Mandarin, right? And yeah, so what we got? Oh yeah, Ni hao, Shenzhen, Kuai which, okay, you're not going to be able to translate that. That's hello, Merry Christmas. So yeah, get used to it, buddy. Goddamn. And here's gold. My God, I was looking at this as maybe a short because it's just fallen off so hard on these relative charts. Relative charts are like just keep saying, keep pushing money out of gold into other shit. First it's silver, platinum, palladium, whatever. Now it's even like NASDAQ, oil stocks, that type of thing. But for the moment, the gold futures do have an open target to 4,700. So we'll see. That equates to this 429 kind of extension area here, 430. It's a confluence of targets. So, you get that in the next few days. Maybe we look at a gold short again. I would say trying to put out a warning. They're like, yo, this is getting unstable. This is getting dangerous up here. And usually when China puts out warnings on their stock market, like, it's like, no, we're knocking this thing down. Get the fuck out. Like, so is that what's going to happen? Don't know. But hey, definitely into that 4,700. That's a good number if you can get it on the gold futures. And then, palladium. So, and that's just what's going on here. Like, it's this end of the year move, and everyone wants to be like, yeah, what? I was long metals all year. You weren't? Like, what's wrong with you, guy? Look at all the money we made in metals. But they're overshooting targets. Like, they're just gapping right through targets. And it's kind of like, all right, like, let's calm down here. And, we'll see what happens as we get into early January a little bit. And believe it or not, platinum just all of a damn sudden all-time high. How about it? How about it? At least I've only got the data for so long, not that long. It could have been a little higher, but I think the 2007 high was it. But anyways, fresh all-time high today. God damn, how about that? But if we are going to mess with the metals here into next year, we like these base metals. Your aluminums, look at the Century aluminum. I think this is just the cleanest one in the whole book where it's like, okay, was stalled out in these low 30s for, since the great financial crisis, and now just breaking through it. So definitely looking to be opportunistic on pullbacks here and then shoot against 30 or so, roughly, give or take. Very good looking chart. You can see, this air pocket here, room to the 60s, 80s, something like that. A lot of upside there. And then, steel's the one. Steel's the group. It's kind of lagged these last few days. It's not so sexy right now, but across the globe, if everyone's working on building up their defense base and investing in their industrial base, steel's it. And you can just see like a lot of room up there to the old highs, 115, this mid 70s area, kind of your reference point on the downside. And, it's just, if we do get pullbacks in the market, this is in this group, this is what we're looking to buy, the type of thing we're looking to buy. But yeah, that'll do it for me today. And I just want to say thanks for tuning in. If you like the video, do me a favor and like the video. And ni hao, Shenzhen, Kuai Le. Until next time, everyone.